Hi, I'm Jane King, and this is New to the Street, in person back here at the Nasdaq market site in New York City. This show is all about public, private, blockchain companies, the CEOs, the founders, and the innovators, bringing you lots of opportunities to consider. Here we go.
My name is Kelly Walters. I'm the CEO of the VRM BioLogik group. I have been in the role for 4 years, and my responsibility ultimately is to honour the vision of the founder and president and implement the company's goal, or mission rather, which is restoring 25% of the world's arable land in 25 years. My first exposure to humus soil was in a landfill site in the Southern Highland area in New South Wales in Australia. I remember going down there in business clothes to make sure that this project was operating well, and the guys handed me a pair of oversized gumboots and said, "Go have a play." I remember digging my hands into this pile of material. It was clean, it smelt rich, it smelt like the earth, and it made me feel good just standing there looking at it. I knew it had come from green waste, food waste, and a whole lot of icky stuff that people don't normally like to deal with. And here I was standing there with it in my hand thinking I could actually grow something with this. It was just an absolutely astounding product as far as I was concerned, and I have been playing with it ever since. It doesn't stop in terms of me just wanting to get my hands into the humus soil wherever we are in the world, whoever is manufacturing it. It is such a revolutionary product to be able to replace fertiliser, to be able to not have any kind of chemical impact on the earth going forward, to be able to grow clean, healthy food for future generations. Yeah, it's just astonishing. I could not have ever imagined I would be in this position.
So that one there, there is no other process. There's no other process. There is no other process converting organics that doesn't have a net carbon emission. We don't care about the organic material, we care about what it does. Where it goes, it adds a thing called hydrosynthesis. Now that's a real fancy word, and you can take a photograph of that because I made it up. It's a brand new word in the English language, it didn't exist before. Biological hydrosynthesis that's a word used to describe the process of water manufacture that didn't exist before. Hydrogen plus oxygen equal water. The mechanism for making water is to find some guy who mixes those two things well. We found the guy. We trained them, we got to know them, we made friends with them. We used your pile of organic material to have a party for these guys. When they have a party, they make water. And they don't make water just while you are in process, they make it for years afterwards, which is what you found. Years afterwards. They make it wherever you deliver that to. Our objective is to improve the fact of and the future of growing food on 25% of the world's arable land. But this is point number one, is that we learnt how to trigger this natural reaction everywhere, in any type of soil, in any altitude, in any climate, in any temperature, in any weather.
It was really serendipitous, the expansion of VRM into the US, us looking for a partner, a business that we could work with who had the same philosophy, who had the same value system, and along came SGTM and Tony and Tammy. The first couple of conversations, of course, this happened sort of just post-COVID, so we weren't able to travel outside of Australia. We've been talking to Tony on screen for 6 months, so we just met him yesterday. To actually stand in front of he and Tammy, to spend the whole day with them talking about how aligned we are in our mission, it's just such a pleasure and an honour to be able to come to the US and to work with SGTM and the team.
From the very first meeting that we had, I think it was about midnight, because in Australia we're on a completely different time zone. It's past my bedtime, but boy did I ever wake up. And I wasn't able to go back to sleep. And the next day I got together with Brian and I said, man, what I listened to in this download was so incredible. And we just kept on working together, one Zoom meeting after another. And now that we've actually formed a partnership and we're working together, we want to make sure that we get Humisoil in every household across the nation and every Caribbean island. And for us to do our part from the U.S. to work together. And that partnership to us is definitely sustainability in its finest, bringing together technology, taking waste that normally would be releasing carbons in the atmosphere and taking everything back and within itself, creating life. That's sustainability for our future.
That this process is built on stimulating photosynthesis which is in the ground, not photosynthesis which is above the ground in the plants and the trees. A whole nother kingdom on the planet that exists everywhere. And one key feature of that group is that they mobilise phosphorus. It's a key feature. So every time you make Humisoil, you'll end up with a percentage of phosphorus in the organic material close to 1%. So when you put a yard of Humisoil out on the ground, you're putting out 1% of that yard is straight fertiliser.
Well, the concept itself of wanting to feed the world, it's a very lofty goal. So how many people are there in the world now? Billions. We are a small team of people. We're not going to be able to do that, to achieve any kind of change, to engage and empower, unless we all do it together. That's the whole idea. I think that we, with our partners all over the world, are going to make a significant impact. We're going to save lives. We're going to save generations. It's as simple as that. I think that if we continue in the same path that we're going, then we can correct a lot of the damage that's been done in the past. We'll be able to ensure that at the very least, this generation's done its best to make sure that the next couple of generations enjoy life.
Here we are, and this great revolutionary technology breakthrough, and we're going to grow water. Come on, who can say they're growing water? I love it.
Soil organic matter offers several added benefits. It filters and cleans water, enhances water retention and storage, mitigates the impact of extreme weather, and improves soil structure to produce more feed, fiber, and food. Less land, less water, less energy, and fewer nutrient inputs. New biodiversity, carbon, and water markets are emerging, producing goods that enhance human and environmental health.
Soligenix is a late-stage biopharmaceutical company committed to develop and commercialize products that treat rare diseases. And with me is Chris Schaber, the president and CEO of Soligenix. So welcome.
Thanks for having me, Jane.
Great to have you back at the Nasdaq. I know you went public here a few years ago.
Yes, good to be back.
Yes. So just tell me about the company. What is Soligenix all about?
Well, as you noted, we're a late-stage biopharmaceutical company focused on developing and commercializing products to treat rare diseases in areas of unmet medical need. And I think what makes Soligenix unique, Jane, is the robustness of the pipeline. We have two business segments. We have a specialized biotherapeutic segment focused on oncology and inflammation, all in the rare disease setting. And our lead program in particular is now moving towards a marketing authorization with the FDA, so hopefully approval sometime in next year in the second half. So we're starting to make that transition from development to commercial company. And then we also have a separate business segment called the Public Health Solutions business segment that has been funded entirely by the U.S. government to date. We've received in excess of $80 million of non-dilutive government funding. And what we do with that particular segment is we develop therapeutics and heat-stabilized vaccines for biodefense, for emerging infectious diseases. So quite a robust portfolio for a company our size.
Yeah, well, I was taking a look at your website. There's a lot. I want to talk to you about a lot of the different things you have going on, and I know there's a lot in the next few months. So you mentioned this potential FDA approval. What else? So you bring me up to date on what's happening.
Sure. So this quarter especially is very busy for us. As you know, when you're filing a new drug application with the FDA, it's really the culmination of more than 10 years of drug development, from preclinical through to clinical studies. All our clinical studies have been positive. Now you take all this information, you compile it, and you submit it to the FDA, and they review it for potential approval. So that has taken up a lot of our time. We'll be filing that this quarter, and we expect approval in the second half of next year because it is orphan and fast track. It is a rare form of cancer. So that's taken up quite a bit of our time. And then beyond that, we have a study that we're doing in psoriasis, mild to moderate psoriasis, obviously a much larger indication than cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, our rare cancer, but still an unmet medical need. And there we'll be initiating a phase 2 study this quarter, probably in December, with the same active ingredient that we're looking at and that we've shown effectiveness in with the cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, the rare disease. So quite interesting and quite a bit of work.
Okay, fascinating to hear about everything you have, and it sounds like next year is going to be a big year for you.
Very big year.
So yeah, thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Thousands of people use Phantom every day to access DeFi, NFT, Metaverse, and GameFi decentralized applications. On Phantom, you can trade, lend, and borrow in a fully decentralized way with instant speed and near zero fees. Whether you're an artist or a collector, there's a rich and accessible NFT ecosystem to explore. Join your friends in the Metaverse for exciting digital experiences or play revolutionary Web3 games. Join Phantom today.
Tocvan Ventures is a publicly traded early-stage natural resource company that is engaged in the acquisition, exploration, and, if warranted, development of those resources. And with me is the CEO, Brodie Sutherland, to share with us about Tocvan. So great to have you here, and tell us about the company.
Yeah, thanks, Jane, for having us. And, you know, really, we're a gold, silver exploration and development company. What we look to do is acquire assets that have a history behind them in terms of finding significant mineralization of this regard, gold and silver, taking that asset and going back and proving it up and turning it into a mineable resource. And that's our focus. We've started with one project in Sonora, Mexico, which has been very successful over the last couple of years. And we've now acquired another asset in Sonora. And our model is to take these projects that have had that past history, but just didn't have the right team or not the right timing to go all the way, and take those and start to advance them towards production. And we think we've got a quality team that can get this done and create more value for our shareholders.
And just real quickly, I'm just curious your the macro thoughts about gold and silver.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you see that market right now?
Yeah, I think obviously, like a lot of things, it's a bit turbulent right now, but long term, we're very bullish on both gold and silver. I think, it's interesting to me to see all these alternative currencies coming about, but I think what we're seeing more and more of is that they're being backed by some kind of physical commodity, and oftentimes that will be gold and silver, and that just means we're going to need to find more of it. And to circle back on that, that's where we really come in. There's a finite amount of gold and silver on this planet. It's becoming more and more difficult to find it, and that's where our technical expertise come in and gets to work trying to identify those resources.
Okay, thanks so much, Brodie, for coming in. Thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Secure is a platform that provides messaging and email in a secure way. They never sell or market your data. And with me is the CEO, Alon Gyahi, to talk about the company. And I know I always enjoy talking to you about cybersecurity issues, and we've seen there's something every day. One of the most interesting ones lately was banks, and they were fined like a ton of money because employees were using WhatsApp. So what was behind that fine? And why was that not a secure thing to do?
Exactly. So they were fined $2 billion for using WhatsApp when they communicate, whether within themselves or with clients. And that's important to know because a banker may have a very strict system at their office, but then a lot of time bankers deal with international clients or people that are not 9 to 5, and then the customer or the client essentially has, WhatsApp or text. I've been reading about that even a few months ago. The chairman of Deutsche Bank was also using, and now the fines are set because it's not, you're sending people's conversation and data and financial info on a system that's hacked and that's kind of public.
Right, but it isn't WhatsApp supposed to be all encrypted, but no.
No,
right?
Well, it's like buying a car. You will have 4 wheels and you will go from A to B, or you want to have the Land Rover Defender, which I'm going to say we are that because we resist all sorts of hacks and we have the privacy. It depends what you want. Encryption you can get off the shelf. If a teenager can get you some encrypted software. And that's essentially what it is because big tech and those data mining companies, all the big names that we know.
WhatsApp is owned by Facebook.
The big 5 of them, Facebook, Meta, WhatsApp, it's the same company. They make more money on your data than selling you for $5, $10 a month of service. So they need that data, they location track you, they data mine you, and then they resell that to other businesses.
And is there plans for expansion?
Yes, actually, yesterday I was on the call with Latin America, Central America to be more precise. We're in Mexico, we're launching in Colombia, Guatemala, Chile, maybe Argentina. We have different distributors. So next year we see a big jump in Central and Latin America. Those accounts are mostly enterprise and government. You have governments over there have a lot of employees and they can't use WhatsApp because they're being hacked. They don't have these big infrastructures like maybe the US government would have, right, with the billions of dollars. So we see a lot of promise there. Obviously expansion in the US. And now we launch in 8 different currencies. So we have people coming from New Zealand, from United Kingdom, from Singapore, buying in local currency. So next year, the big expansion is going to be Central and Latin America, expand the US next year to B2B. We have partnerships we're signing that will expand next year. So we're really going to get a strong foothold in the United States as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Alon.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks.
Here at Grove Token, we're growing a greener future. Thousands of financially savvy and environmentally conscious people are already joining the Grove movement. With real-world payment options, ability to earn passive income, and an eco-conscious business model, you'll be creating opportunities to do good for the planet while doing good for your wallet. Be part of a healthier future. Grove Token, a crypto like no other.
Out of control inflation, escalating government debt, gas and energy bills burning through your savings, and a spiraling war in Europe. The world feels like a very uncertain place right now, and it's harder and harder to take control of your money and safeguard your savings. I mean, why would anyone want to keep their money in a bank that's only going to lend it out for its own profit? Putting your savings at risk, and for what? A pittance in interest? Well, let me tell you about Glint and how they can help you to save in real gold you can spend like dollars. Now, first off, Glint's not a bank or crypto or some new type of credit card. What Glint provides is the ability and freedom to buy, save, and spend real allocated gold that's secured in Brink's vaults and insured by Lloyd's of London. Glint's Smart app and MasterCard is leading the payments revolution, putting you in control of your money by making real gold, trusted for thousands of years, into an instant, secure digital currency for the modern world. Best of all, your gold is always your gold. It's no one else's liability. It's secure and allocated to you. It never goes away, even in a crash. To learn more, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store. It's time to take control of your money and protect it with the time-tested security of gold and the modern digital convenience of Glint. Gold is security. Glint, it's key.
Democracy Investments is looking for places to invest in democracies, but also helping other countries become more democratic. And with me is the CEO, Julie Kane, to talk about the mission of this. And I want to just start a little bit because you're a naval, or were a naval pilot. Tell me about that. Like, what was that experience like?
So I began my career in the Navy as an SH-3 pilot. So I got to do combat search and rescue exercises in the Philippines and flew the Navy SEALs around, pulled some Marines out of the jungle. So very early in life, I witnessed firsthand what it's like to be in a less democratic country. And I think that shaped and that drives our mission for me and my partners. Yeah. We're all very passionate about democracy.
And to what you're doing today. So, I mean, for those of us who haven't, been in non-democratic states, I mean, what did you see? Like, what were things that we maybe take for granted here in the U.S.?
Oh, everything from healthcare to education to just basic dignity and civil liberties. I could go on and on. Freedom of speech, free and fair elections. At the time I was there, they were worried about a coup, and so we were exerting our influence to make sure that didn't happen.
So I think it's really interesting you launched during the pandemic, because I feel like a lot of people were like, what is going on here? Like, they felt like for the first time maybe what it was like to lose a democracy or to have authoritarian rules and things like that.
Absolutely.
So what led you to launch this? And did you see those kinds of things happening?
So we were watching the flow of capital into the passive international index funds, and many of the international indices have been pressured to allocate more and more and more to authoritarian states over the years. And so we wanted to come up with a simple strategy to undo that and help the capital flow more towards democracies. So countries who care about free and fair elections, freedom of speech, enforce the contracts and property rights, and care about civil liberties. So that was the drive behind it. Now it just happened to be during COVID when we could pull everything together.
You mentioned that I tweeted about The Economist.
Yes, I love that.
Is doing a podcast on Xi Jinping.
Yes, the prince.
Yes, and it's excellent. And it even goes back to how he's growing up and some of his philosophies about government and how I feel like everybody should listen to that. It is extremely well done. So, I mean, you like The Economist, and you also think that they're providing a lot of intelligence, for people globally to know what's going on.
I completely agree with you, and thank you for tweeting that. And I do think everyone should listen to that podcast series. Yes, I'm a huge fan of The Economist. They're supportive of our strategy, so we're super excited to have the license with them for financial products globally.
Yeah. No, I would say anybody who can. I think you might have to be a subscriber, but it's really, really well done and great. So, Julie, great to meet you, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because I feel like once you've lost a democracy, it's really, really hard, if not impossible, to get it back. So,
yeah,
we need to protect what we have.
Agreed. These are very interesting times. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.